Truth Seeker. You know, just yesterday, May 17th, 2017, before it was announced that Chris Cornell was dead, I did a video on why ritual sacrifices under the May sun happen so often. And I talked about why May 17th was the perfect date for a ritual sacrifice under the May sun in regards to the death of Bill Clinton's father. Bill Clinton's biological father, Bill Blythe Jr., died on May 17th, 1946. And earlier today, I put out a short video on the death of Chris Cornell and why it's significant that he's died 97 days before the black hole sun that will happen through a diagonal across the United States of America from Oregon down to the Carolinas on August 21st. The first time such a phenomenon has happened in 99 years. Remember what's special about that 99. The United States of America sums to 99. 13 sums to 99. 13 colonies, 13 stripes. First time in 99 years, a total solar eclipse across the entire country. We're going to talk about why 97 days before that solar eclipse is so significant. Once again, what I covered in this video, plus a whole lot more. But I got to let you know the weirdest part about this story for me. There's just something so weird about this. I went to bed late last night, as you can verify. I was up making videos because there's so much crazy stuff going on in the world that people need to know about. And things are being foreshadowed, you know, doomsday, if you will. I'm not here to cause panic, but I'm trying to let you know. The powers that shouldn't be who rule over our society, they're trying to let us know some shit is coming down the pipe. And the death of Chris Cornell is part of this coded message. They're letting us know things are coming in this nation. Go back and watch the video that I did at the beginning of the year on the August 21st eclipse. I think I even mentioned Chris Cornell's name in that video. Black Hole Sun. You know, one of the most famous songs of anyone my age, our generation. One of the biggest rock songs of the 90s. And you know what's the wildest thing? My buddy got me up early this morning. He's a mailman. He wakes up at the crack of dawn, blowing my head off about Chris Cornell being dead. A million text messages about the death of Chris Cornell this morning. And I was half asleep, and you know, it's not the news you want to wake up to. Me and my buddy were both up here. We live in Seattle. You know, we're Northwesters. We've grown up here our whole lives. We were teenagers, you know, this was our music. And, you know, I was like half asleep, and I got up and I decided to put on some Soundgarden, you know, just you know, sentimental. And the first song I put on as early as it was in the morning, I needed to wake up, was I put on Slaves and Bulldozers. You know, right away when I heard that Chris Cornell was dead, and I just knew about May and everything, I just started thinking about the ending lyrics to that song. Now I know why you've been taken. And I know why Chris Cornell's been taken. If he's really dead, I know why he's dead. If he's faked his death, I know why he's done it on this date. As I continue to explain, the world of celebrity, it is full of suspicious deaths, murder by numbers, and always in ritualistic fashion. Last February 2016, I explained why Prince would likely die right after the death of Vanity before the 58th Grammys. We're going to be talking about 58 a lot in this video. All the reporting of his death is surrounded by 58, the number of Freemasonry. Mason, May, under the sun. Freemasonry controls the music recording industry. A lot of suspicious deaths for musicians in this month. And again, this is bigger than just music, but music is full of it. Because music is that thing that is so important to so many of us. Out of all the entertainment mediums, you know, music takes the cake. Most people won't watch a movie 100 times in their life, but they'll listen to an album 100 times over. That song, Slaves and Bulldozers, I've listened to that song so many times in my life, I have no idea how many times. And here's a real story from my own life, which is really weirding me out. I live up here in Seattle. Chris Cornell recorded that song, those albums up here. He died in Detroit, another music city, Motown. Motown came out in 59, number stamped all over black people throughout history. You know, we've seen Chris Cornell covering the black musicians lately, from Prince to Michael Jackson. We saw him try to collaborate with Timbaland. It's interesting that he died on a date with 59 numerology in light of the fact he died in Motown on a date with 59 numerology. Again, Negro 59, Slave 59, Blues 59, the word kill 59. A lot of black men have died by the number 59, and now Chris Cornell has died by that number at age 52. But anyway, what I was going to say with regards to him dying in Detroit, what really weirds me out is I dated a girl from Detroit for a number of years. She was adopted into a super wealthy family, a family that almost runs the Detroit Pistons and the professional sports teams in that city. Anyway, her family, they loved me because I was good for her. She was like a young, rich, spoiled, crazy thing, and no man had ever been able to get her to like chill out and be a sensible person, I guess. I didn't know that until her family told me. But anyway, her family begged me to marry this girl. And I considered it for a while, but I knew there was something about her that, you know, just never quite sat right with me. And I was younger then. This was 10 years ago. I always thought maybe she'd mature out of it, but it just didn't come. And over time, that problem got worse and worse. And I started singing like Chris Cornell, "What's in it for me?" And honestly, it was a day where the song Slaves and Bulldozers, it came on the radio up here. And, you know, I just realized, like, that song, listening to Chris Cornell sing, you know, scream on the record, I just thought, exactly, why am I still in this relationship? You know, what's in it for me? So really, that song had a huge impact on me just finally reaching that point of, I got to get out of this relationship. This relationship is toxic. And anyway, that girl was from Detroit. You know, she was from Detroit. Chris Cornell dead in Detroit. I guess the last song he played last night of Soundgarden's was Slaves and Bulldozers. Now I know why you've been taken. What's in it for me? I always loved that song. Out of all the Soundgarden songs ever recorded, that was always my favorite song, because I just know that you can just hear it the way he sings it, that song meant a lot to him. And I think that song meant a lot to a lot of people, which is probably the reason it was the last one they played. But then they also covered Led Zeppelin, "In My Time of Dying." And we're going to get to why that song is so interesting in light of the solar eclipse August 21st later this year. So there's a lot of information here. You know, I just started with a long introduction, but this is someone who's important to me. You know, out of all the celebrities in the world, there's only a handful that are important to me. Chris Cornell is one of them. I really like the music of Chris Cornell. Not everything, but, I mean, who likes everything anyone ever did? I'm sure a lot of you hate some of the videos I made. But anyway, Chris Cornell dead at 52. And right away, Black Sun, Gematria 52. This is totally synced up with what will be the Black Sun later this year. He died on May 17th, the 137th day of the year. Again, just yesterday, before this news, before Chris Cornell was dead, reportedly he died late, almost at midnight, May 17th. I put out a video on why this date makes so much sense for ritual sacrifice, and it's all about the sun. And we couldn't get, within 24 hours of making that video, we get the most classic example we could ever get. Chris Cornell remembered for Black Hole Sun. Black Hole Sun, easily the most famous song that most people know from Soundgarden. But I think a lot of Soundgarden's fans, they probably prefer songs like Slaves and Bulldozers. But both songs are great. Anyway, Seattle, Soundgarden, that was the grunge music scene, late 80s, early 90s, you know. Nirvana, a big part of that. If you've ever missed my work on Kurt Cobain and Jimi Hendrix, Seattle musicians dead at 27, check that out. Those men died by the exact same patterns. Chris Cornell's death even ties in with 27, which we'll get to. But grunge music has that gematria of 137, which is a very special number. May 17th, the day Chris Cornell dead, the 137th day of the year, leaving 228 days remaining. As I explained, the reason this date's so perfect for death is because of that 228 as well as the 137. The word death represented by 228, just like United States of America, a nation born out of murder, killing, genocide of the natives, a nation that's been at war ever since. Chris Cornell was born Christopher John Boyle, born on the day the U.S. supposedly landed on the moon, but born 5 years before that. Born in Cancer. His birth name, Christopher John Boyle, in Gematria sums to 97, which is a number of death. See my work on the death of Notorious B.I.G. in 1997, what that had to do with Jay-Z and Rockefeller Records and his success. It's all about 97. From Chris Cornell's death to the solar eclipse, the black hole sun that's coming, something that hasn't happened for 99 years, 97 days. 97 days like death, like his name, his birth name, Christopher John Boyle. So, Black Hole Sun. Look at what date this song was released. The single was released on May 4th. May, sun. Look at the word sun, Gematria 54. We're going to talk about what Black Hole Sun and the sun having to be 93 million miles away have to do with each other. Black Hole Sun has Gematria of 93, which we'll get to, like the distance of the sun. This is what it's all about. This is what Masonry is all about. Tributes, rituals to the sun, and the way they've set up their calendar. May's the month with the big Masonic tribute. May 17th, May 23rd, the two dates with the most ritualistic numbers behind them. Covered this in yesterday's video. The date Black Hole Sun released as a single was also a date with 122 numerology. Special number, Seattle is on the 122nd meridian. Soundgarden also has Gematria of 122, which we'll get to. Their most remembered song, released as a single on the absolute perfect date. You couldn't have picked a more perfect date, which tells you the band did not choose the release date of this song. Their Zionist controllers did. Again, this practice of doing things by the numbers with the calendar, with the language, this is Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism. It is tributes to God, the belief that God created the world and language with the merger of the letter and number. Very real system, very important to Masonry. And again, I've been explaining this since 2013. These people don't use this language just sometimes. This language is the rule. This is how things are done, how they've been done for centuries. This is way bigger than music. This is history. This is everything we know that's going on within culture, essentially. That comes through, the mainstream. The TV, the paper, the magazine. I noticed that this album, or this song, was on Super Unknown, which has, in Gematria, overlaps with the Society of Jesus, the Masonic order within the Catholic Church, which made the Christian day of worship from Saturday, the Sabbath day, to Sunday, the sun. The Masons within the Catholic Church, the most powerful branch of all, they are the Jesuits. I also noticed that his death comes 113 days before the start of the Super Bowl 52 season, which will be on 9/7. Chris Cornell's death this year is Prince's death last year. Prince recorded in 1983, "I would die for you. I would die for you." And he wrote it with the number 4 and the letter U. He died on 4/21. U is the 21st letter in the alphabetic order. "I would die for you." He recorded that 33 years before dying April 21st, 2016. And then we saw Charlie Murphy die April 12th, connected through Dave Chappelle with the skits about Prince. He died at 57 just like Prince. Scottish Rite equals 57 like entertainer. Again, Scottish Rite of Freemasonry is the Masonic branch running the entertainment industry, along with the Jesuits and the Vatican, which both have their heavy representation in Washington, D.C., which equals 137. That could also be part of this. I mean, this ritual is huge. Washington, D.C., 137. Chris Cornell dead on the 137th day of the year. Government, 137. White House, 137. All of those words also have Gematria of 52, like Chris Cornell dead at 52 on the 137th day. But anyway, the upcoming NFL season will be the season that ends in Super Bowl 52. I showed how last year Prince's death was a tribute to the upcoming NFL season, the World Series, the NBA Finals, and as those things came around, I showed exactly how it was true and so. Prince died in Minnesota. Minnesota equals 52. They're hosting Super Bowl 52. Now Chris Cornell dead at 52 just before the start of the season. In case you're new here and you're watching, this might just seem like overwhelming, too much, I'm off my rocker. I'm not. The powers that shouldn't be are crazy, and this is how they're orchestrating the world. It's all planned symbology, it's all masonry, it's all interrelated. 113 is the number of Scottish, as in Scottish Rite Freemasonry. This span, the 97 days, notice it's also 13 weeks and 6 days. The name Chris Cornell equals 136. His last full day on this earth was May 16th, the 136th day of the year. He died, and they're saying, in an apparent suicide on May 17th. You know, in 48 hours, it could be a totally different cause of death. But right now, they're saying apparent suicide, a band found around his neck. You know, he was just rocking out with the band of Slaves and Bulldozers hours before that. So May 17th, this special day, the 137th day, that's the 33rd prime number. Rockstar sums to 33. Chris, 33. Eclipse, 33. Synced up with the eclipse that's coming August 21st. The full solar eclipse. He died at the MGM Casino. MGM 33. You know, on the 137 day. Notice also how 137 and 187 are related. Remember, 187, huge number in Washington, D.C., as well as with the Jesuits connected to homicide. The name Chris has a lot of interesting gematria. I'm going to link this post. You can read through all of these notes. There could be a riddle here with the NBA Finals. These numbers are all over the NBA Finals. NBA Finals 33. NBA Finals also 57. NBA Finals also 78. Very much like the name Chris. Again, last year the Cavs broke the 52-year drought in Cleveland. These are special numbers. 52 is not an arbitrary number. The name Cornell in Gematria sums to 34 like murder, 38 like death, killing, murder, 79 also like murder, 110 is like his birth numerology. What creeps me out a little bit about 110, that number connects to president. It's also another big number. Remember the World Trade Centers, they were 110 stories tall? That was a Saturn ritual. Saturn is the black hole sun. Something huge is being foreshadowed this year. Something very tragic. You know, in the Bible, there's the verses about the sun, you know, being blotted out and what comes. In Revelation, the book of prophecy and destruction. All of this stuff is interconnected. Black hole sun came out just after the 93 World Trade Center bombing. What year was it again? Let's check it one more time. In 94. In 94 on May 4th. All of this stuff is ritual. 9/11, which was connected to the 93 World Trade Center bombing, was another Saturn ritual. Flight 93 of 33 passengers. The first plane to hit floors 93 through 99. Understand, this is more than just some random death. This is huge. This is a major ritual. I can't emphasize it enough. Chris Cornell, in Gematria, sums to 64. Look at this. He died 64 days before his birthday. His birthday is July 20th, the date of the moon landing. Major tribute to Scottish Rite Freemasonry. The word moon equals 57, by the way. Just like Chris, born on the what is now the anniversary of the moon landing. But Chris Cornell, a lot of interesting things here. The 71 connects to the Talmud in the Catholic Church. It's also a number connected to murder. Again, 136, his last full day on earth was the 136th day of the year. The Golden State Warriors won with 136 points on that day. These numbers aren't arbitrary. The script is real. And again, it's big. It's news, it's politics, it's sports, it's death, it's murder, it's ritual. Notice that Chris Cornell is also 188. This is the really huge number that's going to take us to the significance of 99 years since the last full solar eclipse across this nation on August 21st that's to come. Chris Cornell sums to 188, and he played his final song last night was In My Time of Dying, the Led Zeppelin song. Robert Plant, better watch out. This is probably a little signal that we're going to be reading about the death of Robert Plant pretty soon. Let's just see how old Robert Plant is. For you who don't know who that is the front man for Led Zeppelin. This is a Led Zeppelin song, In My Time of Dying. Robert Plant, I want to know when his birthday is. Born August 20th. Oh my God. Robert Plant's birthday is the day before the solar eclipse that's coming. Okay? Let's see what day Jimmy Page's birthday is. And wait a minute, how old is Robert Plant? We got to think about this. He's going to turn 69 the day before the solar eclipse. Look at, here's the numbers of Saturn, which is the keeper of time to the occult. 93, like how far away the sun is, 93 million miles. Saturn also has 69, and Robert Plant will turn 69 the day before this eclipse. Unreal. Unreal. Jimmy Page. How old are you? I think Jimmy Page is a little bit older. Maybe I spelled his name wrong there. Does he just spell it with a... No, maybe there's no I. Jimmy Page. Is there more than one Jimmy Page? There we go. Jimmy Page. How old's he? He just turned 73 years old. Sacrifice has to do with 73. These are the famous musicians from Led Zeppelin. I mean, the whole band's famous, but those are the most two. But anyway, Robert Plant, the day before the eclipse, I mean, that's unreal. So In My Time of Dying, 188, just like Chris Cornell, the last song he ever sang on stage at the Fox Theater. Again, Prince performed at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, his last concert. Talk about that Fox Theater in regards to Rockstar. But this number, In My Time of Dying, 188, just like Bavarian Illuminati, like Chris Cornell. Here's what you need to know about the Bavarian Illuminati. It was established May 1st, 1776. That's a date with 99 numerology. 99. It was established with 13 families. 13 Gematria of 99. If you write out the United States of America, it sums to 99. And it was established just 2 months before the U.S. declared its independence. You know? May 1st, under the May sun. The word Freemason, I want to show you this with a single exception. Sums to 51, Freemason 42 as well as 51, kind of like May 1st. It was Adam Weishaupt who established the Bavarian Illuminati. Also 51. Notice his name's 75 as well, like order, like New World Order. This is the man who established the most powerful order the world has ever known. New World Order 75. NWO, by the way, is 52, like the age Chris Cornell just died at. So, the Bavarian Illuminati, established on a date with 99 numerology, with 13 families, just before the establishment of the United States of America, and we're having this solar eclipse that hasn't been seen for the first time in 99 years. Doesn't this seem beyond coincidental? The whole thing with the moon in 99 years really trips me out, you know? Talked about that earlier this year when I put out that video. But here's the writing. Soundgarden closed a Detroit show with a cover of Led Zeppelin's In My Time of Dying. Chris Cornell has tragically passed away age 52 the same day he performed his final ever show with Soundgarden. Notably, they closed the gig with Slaves and Bulldozers, what I had planned at the beginning, merged with a refrain of Led Zeppelin's In My Time of Dying, a gospel song also covered by Bob Dylan. And like I've been saying, Bob Dylan, I'm actually surprised Bob Dylan's still with us. Bob Dylan is marked to go soon too. The singer was found dead May 17th, shortly after playing Detroit's Fox Theater to a sold-out crowd. The band performed classics including Rusty Cage, remember that, and Fell on Black Days. We'll check Fell on Black Days. I forgot to check that one. But with regards to Led Zeppelin, going out with them, Led Zeppelin 47, like rock. Seattle on the 47th parallel. Big rock city in the 90s. The Space Needle has the rotating restaurant that does a full rotation every 47 minutes. The word time in Gematria equals 47. So does the word radio, rock on the radio, all throughout time. Remember, the tropics, which measure the solstices of this earth, Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, they're 47 degrees apart. Time. The Freemason compass, the legs are kicked out at 23.5 degrees each, just like the tropics, set at a 47 degree angle. Freemasonry. Think about the date May 23rd, 23/5, 23.5, tributes to the May sun. You see what I mean? It's all about the sun. So notice Rusty Cage, the Gematria of it, 52. He's going to break out of his rusty cage, his old man body. Not to, I mean, there's 52-year-olds who look great. And if you're 52, I didn't mean to call you old. I'll be there before you know it. But anyway, he's breaking out of his rusty cage at age 52. 38, that's our number of death, killing, murder, murder by numbers, the Police song from 1983, about how easy it is to kill, ABC 1, 2, 3. 119, what's that? That's our number for the all-seeing eye, The rock stars love to pose with that. They love to put up the 666, cover up the left eye 33. All-seeing eye 119, like Star of David, like Master Plan. Speaking of Master Plan, breaking out of his rusty cage at 52 on a date synced up with the solar eclipse, the black hole sun. Couldn't be synced any more perfectly. Slaves and Bulldozers has the Gematria of 68. Caskets go 6 feet deep or 8 feet long. 103, that's the 27th prime number. The numbers rock stars are known for dying by. To his upcoming 53rd birthday, Chris Cornell, bear with me a moment. I want to make sure I didn't pass some notes that I meant to tell you. Might have skipped over some things. No, we still got to get to them. There's a lot to cover here. To Chris Cornell's upcoming 53rd birthday is 43 weeks. Or excuse me, from his last birthday to his death today is 43 weeks. And RIP equals 43, rest in peace. Frontman 43, Masonic 43. Again, this is a Masonic ritual in the biggest of ways. And just to emphasize that, I want you to see this. The word Freemason has Gematria 42, just like the month of May. May 42. May, sun. And if you write out the sun, it has Gematria of 24. 24. Think about the 24 hours in a day. The reflection of 42. 33, also going with the eclipse. We talked about 33, but 24, the reflection of 42. So, in the Bible, you learn about the number 666, the number of the beast. The beast is time, and time is measured by the sun. Rockstar has Gematria of 666. I mentioned that the NBA Finals has Gematria of 666 because we often see these ritualistic killings around the time of the NBA Finals. It's the deadliest sports season there is, every year. And I've been talking about this for the last 2 months building up to this. Anyhow, his final show as a rock star at the Fox Theater, which in English extended is 666. Also, the letter F is the 6th letter, O is the 15th letter, in numerology 1 plus 5 is 6. X is the 24th letter, 2 plus 4 is 6. 666. Final show at the Fox Theater after recording In My Time of Dying. Look at Black Hole Sun in Gematria, 42, like Freemason, like May, like the reflection of 24, the sun. Soundgarden has Gematria of 58, like Freemasonry, Secret Society, Solomon's Temple, Rosicrucian, very special number. Just wait until we get to the witnesses of the death. It's all coded 58. Soundgarden, 122, like Seattle on the 122nd meridian, the 47th parallel. Black Hole Sun came out on the date with the 122 numerology. You know, and I just thought of something. Rage Against the Machine has the Gematria of 188. Chris Cornell became the frontman for Rage Against the Machine, and then they became Audio Slave instead of Rage Against the Machine. Rage Against the Machine, forgot about this piece. Also 188. The article mentions here, you know, Audio Slave. That was Rage Against the Machine. So he died in Detroit. Interestingly enough, Detroit has Gematria 44 like Seattle. Numbers connected to killing. The music industry, full of death, killing, suicide, suspicion, mystery. You know why? Because all of this stuff sells records. All of this stuff. The news of his death came through his agent, Brian Bumbury, which equals 58, like Soundgarden, like Freemasonry. The police officer who said that he witnessed the band around his neck, apparent suicide. The officer's name is Dante Freeman, 58. Again, Freemasonry, police, they go hand in hand. Watch the movie Filth. Filth and Gematria sums to 55. It came out on Irvine Welsh's 55th birthday. It was also the Jesuit Order's birthday. It's about Freemasonry, police, and corruption. And even killing people and getting away with it. They said suicide, you know, apparent suicide. Suicide has the Gematria of 34. We covered this. Murder, 47, like Rock, like Seattle on the 47th parallel. Number of Freemason Foundation, 119, like All-Seeing Eye. Number connected to Saturn as well. Saturn has the Gematria of 119. Again, the black hole sun, a reference to Saturn. If he's really dead, he might have been poisoned with arsenic. Arsenic, the 33rd element on the periodic table. Capital A, lowercase s. A is the first letter. S is the 19th. AS, 119. Suicide. You know? Something tells me Chris Cornell is alive and well and just fine. Alright, so Mr. Cornell, again, born in 64. His name, Chris Cornell, equals 64. Dead 64 days before his birthday. The phrase band around his neck, from the apparent suicide, that phrase has Gematria of 163, the 38th prime number. Again, our number connected to death, murder, killing. Big number in the death of Prince and so many others. The last song they played from their own album, Slaves and Bulldozers, is from the album Bad Motorfinger, which has Gematria of 147 like Freemason. And he died in the Motor City, you know? I don't think that's coincidental. Another music city, Detroit. Talk about how the band disbanded in 97. Again, his full name, 97. Dead 97 days before the solar eclipse. I forgot to check out Fell on Black Days earlier. It just came into my head. Fell on Black Days. Fell on Black Days, 52, you guys. Just like how they emphasize it above, you know? And then the article refers to him as Mr. Cornell, which has Gematria 52. Mr. Cornell also 47, like Rock, like Seattle up on the 47th parallel, like Led Zeppelin. Here, Chris Cornell's orchestral The Promise from new Christian Bale film. You know, this is just in the news, March 10th of this year. The Promise, 52. Just before his death at 52. Reminds of David Bowie putting out his album about Lazarus resurrected from the dead. Well, one of my friends up here who has Masonic connections, who gives me some tips, I can't put out his information, but he let me know this morning that he has connections to Chris Cornell, and he says Chris Cornell is alive and well. I don't know that for sure what he's telling me is the truth, but he says, you know, Chris Cornell is alive and well, this is all planned out. And, you know, just based on how well all this is, it just seems that he likely is alive and well. And I hope that is the case. I'd be angry to find out that he sold us out and faked his death, but it's better than him being murdered, you know. So they mentioned his album Euphoria Morning. I like that album. That was his first solo album. It has Gematria of 93, number of Saturn, keeper of time, sun 93 million miles away. His career remembered for Black Hole Sun. Black Hole Sun has the Gematria of 93. So, right away I started thinking about the major Seattle musicians that are still around from his time. Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam. Eddie Vedder equals 58, the name Vedder 58. He has Coachella named after him. Coachella's 33. Indio, it's on the 33rd parallel. Fitting for a rock star. So Eddie Vedder used to be in Temple of the Dog with Chris Cornell. From the date of the passing of Chris Cornell to Eddie Vedder's upcoming 53rd birthday, 221 days, the Bavarian Illuminati 221. Just if you put the in front of the 188. The is 33, 188 plus 33, 221. Also fair. Donald Trump became president 221 days after his birthday. Huge Bavarian Illuminati ritual, which I talked about a year before it happened. His death also came 20 weeks and 6 days after Eddie Vedder's 52nd birthday. Seattle's home of the 206 area code. This morning I put out a video that came out 206 long, and I did not mean to do that. But again, Hermeticism, the belief that God shows you you're right about your actions if you're doing right by communicating it to you in a way that can be understood through what you're studying. This is all part of Hermeticism. We're studying numbers, the language of numbers. The belief Kabbalah created the world with language and numbers. Amazing how that video that I made about Chris Cornell finished at 2 minutes and 6 seconds. I did not intend that at all. I wanted it to be 1 minute. Anyhow, the other guy to look at is Dave Grohl. I did a lot of work on the death of Kurt Cobain in regards to Dave Grohl and Courtney Love. Look at Dave Grohl. Foo Fighters 52, Dave Grohl 52, Chris Cornell, the man dead at 52. Dave Grohl's a poser. Also, from Chris Cornell's death to his upcoming, what would have been his birthday, it was 64 days later, or a full span of 65 days. That's the number of Knights Templar, another Masonic order. It's interesting that Foo Fighters is also 65. The name Kurt Cobain's 114, like Grohl's birthday. Check out my work on Cobain and Jimi Hendrix. Also, from Grohl's birthday, he just turned 48. From his birthday to the death today, 123 days. Black Hole Sun, 123, like Conspiracy. The name Dave Grohl, 47, again like rock. Chris Cornell had a life lesson number of 47. If this is a tribute to the White House, it was also the 118th day of Trump being president, death 118. Donald Trump, the Saturnalia president, as I've talked about, see my older videos. 113 days until the start of the Super Bowl, Scottish, 113. I was looking to Super Bowl 52 as well. Super Bowl 52, interestingly enough, is 263 days away. And 263 is the 56th prime number. Super Bowl 52, 263 days from his death. I was mentioning the significance of 56 and super unknown. Notice a lot of these numbers have 11 numerology, the master number. As crazy as it is, this is the way the powers that shouldn't be do it. We'll have to look at the NFL teams that have the big 56 connections. Remember last year's Super Bowl, all about Saturn. You know, Tom Brady at age 39, the reflection of 93. The Patriots ran 93 plays in the building where construction began March 9th, 3/9 or 9/3. Chris Cornell has died on a date with 39 numerology, the reflection of 93. Saturn's the keeper of time, the word time 47. From the news of his death today, May 18th, to July 4th, Soundgarden has a song about a gloomy, dreary 4th of July. Interesting that that's 47 days from the date of the news to the upcoming 4th of July. Some people left some really good notes. This man caught a lot here about the release of the song to his death. I'm going to link this blog post below. There's always more, truth seeker. You know, if I study this in the months ahead, there'll probably be a lot more videos. But this is everything I can show you today. Until next time.